Dialga lead here, met by a Dialga in the lead, another Dialga lead, into a Dialga lead, another Dialga lead, Giratina into Dialga, another Dialga lead, and we see a Togekiss lead. You guys may be thinking this is a horrible lead. This is my favorite lead to see with this team. And let me explain to you why. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we do upload daily PvP content, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like EC Vargas, thank you for the support. And guys, if you like to hear some dope music, definitely go check him out on his YouTube channel. Gonna put it up here. EC Vargas produces his own music, really good stuff, very underrated. Definitely check him out, link in the description as well. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the Open Master League with a team featuring Giratina Altered in the lead. We're taking a look at two sets in which I lost the lead every single match, but we still managed to pull off some pretty impressive wins. Gonna take a look at those battles today, and honestly, Giratina Altered, you're gonna see how I play this. I don't switch out of the lead once, so it's gonna be interesting battles. Let's get into it right now. Alright, so basically first battle here against Whiskey, 1 TJ, and this is the first match I used trying out this team. Dialga lead here, obviously unfavorable, but you're going to see what I do here is I stay in the match, and I'm going to throw 2 Dragon Claws. Usually when you get to the second Dragon Claw, the Dialga will get to the Iron Head at around the same time, so they might beat you to throwing it first, but either way, you want to throw back to back here. Iron Head will not KO, so there's no point to shield. The second Dragon Claw is going to put it in the yellow, and then he's going to farm you down. And what you're going to do after that point is you're going to bring in your own Dialga, and if your Dialga's best buddy, you should be able to farm down the opposing Dialga before they get to another charge room. So you'll have a lot of energy ready to throw out whatever comes in next, and you're not going to have to use any shields. And the main idea behind this team is preserving 2 shields, or at least a shield for the Mewtwo in the back, and hope it could sweep. So here I'm throwing the Iron Head, gonna get a shield for sure from Togekiss. Switch into the Mewtwo here, met by a Giratina. Now you may be thinking, this is a horrible matchup for Mewtwo, but Side Strike is such a broken move. Look how much damage that does. It's actually ridiculous how broken it is. And we have 2 shields still, so all I gotta do is shield this up here. Even if it's not this win, it's fine, because Side Strike charges so quickly that we're gonna beat it to the next charge room, even if they're just going straight Omnis Win. So at this point, the opponent's gonna have to use their second shield, and we're actually gonna be able to get to this third Side Strike before they throw another charge room. So we knocked out this Giratina. We still have a shield, but you have to remember, we have Dialga and Mewtwo here, and this Togekiss doesn't care about our shields. So we have to bring in Dialga here, and it's basically a race to the Iron Head. The opponent obviously has no reason to throw a charge move here, so they're just going for the straight farm down, which is the correct play, and we beat them to the Iron Head. Gonna throw this, win the match. This was the first battle I played with this team, and I figured, you know what, let's try and roll with it because it seems pretty good. So we're gonna head in to the first set right now. First match against the Nameless King, and we are leading with the Giratina Altered Forme, running Shadow Claw, met by a Dialga in the lead. So you saw I played out last time. I do not use any shields. I do not switch out. I stay in this match with the Giratina Altered. Gonna throw the Dragon Claw here. Definitely not gonna shield anything. So the Iron Head comes through. You can see we get to the Dragon Claw here. Gonna throw this, and should be able to hit the second one here. And we're gonna get farmed down by this, of course. And like you saw in the last matchup, what we're gonna do once we get farmed down is bring in the Dialga, farm down their own Dialga, and have energy stored for whatever comes in. And usually people are going to have a very hard counter. And one thing to consider with this team here actually, as we see a Landorus, is that my team does not have a very hard counter for an opposing Dialga. My main counter is our own Dialga, or with shields down, a Focus Blast from Mewtwo. So I can't really afford to switch out of Giratina into my Dialga and get hard countered, and then have their Dialga in the back without a hard counter of my own for it. So that's why I stay in with the Giratina. You could argue that I could bring in Mewtwo, but I don't want the Mewtwo to go down that early. I like how it plays in the end game. So they bring in the Melmetal here. We got 2 shields left. Gonna shield this first Rock Slide here, and I'm going to just go straight Side Strike here, because we should be able to outpace it to these charge moves. He has 1 shield. He's gonna have to use it at some point. So I'm just going to apply pressure with Side Strike. Remember, the Landorus switched out with about 1 HP, so I'm not too worried about it in the back. All I want to do is do that basically. Get that damage off, switch into Dialga here, and Superpower won't KO, so I don't have to shield this. I know I'm not in KO range, so I let it go through, and all I could do, I could shield here and commit to the farm down with Dragon Breath, and we'll win this game. So Superpower comes through, I shield that. He actually switches out. I forgot about this Landorus in the back, and I'd make a huge mistake here going for the Iron Head. I was just like, anxiety hit. Don't go for the Charger here, just straight farm down. If I didn't have a Mewtwo in the back, I would have lost because of that misplay. But thankfully we did have the Mewtwo, and we win that game. If I just went for the farm down instead of the Iron Head, we would have won easily. But made it a little close there by going for the noob move, and we still managed to win the game. So Javi Ramos 93. Up next, Giratina into Giratina Origin. Again, another bad lead, or so you would think. In fact, it is a bad lead, because if the opponent goes straight for Shadow Ball, we're going to lose the lead, unless we're shielding, of course, right? Actually, even if we shield, we're going to lose. But this game is very dependent on baits, and I don't care to really shield in this matchup most of the time, so I let the Shadow Ball go through, but he goes for Omnis Wind, and this flips the matchup entirely for us. Because if they throw Omnis Wind and we shield it, of course, it's huge for them, they're going to win. But if they throw Omnis Wind and we don't shield, they basically give us the advantage. So they switch out into Melmetal here, and I don't really have a hard counter for Melmetal, so I'm going to stay in with Giratina until it goes down, do as much chip damage as I can here with the Giratina Altered, and just let it go down. So Melmetal is going to throw a Rock Slide here. This won't be enough to KO. Should be able to get to another Shadow Sneak here, and because Thunder Shock is literally doing nothing to Giratina, the opponent's going to have to throw another Rock Slide to knock us out or get hit by one more Shadow Sneak. So you can see Giratina Altered puts in some work here, and this Rock Slide will KO. We made it use its energy, which is amazing for us. And now I'm going to bring in the Mewtwo here. Gonna get hit by one Rock Slide, that's totally fine. This will not KO, so I'm letting it go through, saving 2 shields here. And I'm gonna over farm a little bit and throw right before they get to the next charge move. So I have 3 more Cycle Cuts on top of the Side Strike here. This is going to knock out the Melmetal. Oh, with his shields, okay. So when he shields here, I'm actually gonna let this go through, and I'm gonna depend on Dialga, because unless he has, even if he has 2 hard counters, Dialga with 2 shields will win against pretty much anything. I think even Rhyperior will win against, I'm not sure, but yeah, we get the Side Strike, switch out into Dialga, try to go for the farm down there. At this point I have 2 shields, so I'm gonna shield this. Even if it's an Omnis Wind bait, it's fine, because I have so much health, and I need to use the shields. We have a big shield advantage. Opponent is going to come in here. He is waiting. Probably going to bring in the Melmetal, and we're just going to farm this down, get the energy ready for whatever's in the back. Gonna Draco Meteor this. It's a Mewtwo, and the opponent is not going to give me the satisfaction of landing that Draco Meteor. They back out. So we take that match. We're 3-0 currently in this set. Next match against RKRE, and we are going to be leading Giratina into a Dialga lead. So you can see there is a lot of Dialga leads here, and obviously Dialga lead is not optimal for Giratina Altered. Giratina can't win against Dialga no matter what, basically. So, well, I mean, maybe you can if they choose not to. Well, if they don't shield and I shield, we could win, obviously, but that's like never gonna happen. So I throw the Dragon Claw here, goes through. Gonna throw back to back here, and you gotta make sure you throw back to back, like right away, because I tried out throwing one and then farming a little bit and then throwing the next one. The Dragon Breath KO'd. It's like, it's broken. So the opponent switches out here. He switch locks himself into Mewtwo. So what I'm going to do here is throw the Iron Head, and then I'm going to switch out into my own Mewtwo. So I'm going to bring in Mewtwo here. And at this point, when I made this switch, the game started lagging like absolute craziness. Like, this is sped up too. Like, this is like 1.6 speed, I think. So look how much lag I took, and the opponent looks like they're still lagging. We take those. You know, I can't say enough times how many times I've lost games to lag. We're trying to get to rank 10, you know. There's no mercy here. You gotta take what you can, because majority of the time people aren't gonna do it for you, right? So just go for the win. Gonna throw this Side Strike here. Opponent had back-to-back Side Strikes ready. Gonna shield up one. Throw this Side Strike. They let it go through, so I would be able to farm down. They bring in Kyogre. Because I have an energy lead on the Kyogre, this isn't that bad. As long as I can get off 2 Side Strikes here, we'll be good. So they're going to try to waterfall us down here. Now we do have Dialga in the back, which is amazing, obviously, for Kyogre. So we are in a very good spot. Get off this Side Strike here. He's going to shield. I'm going to switch out into Dialga here. Basically, his only win condition is to land the Blizzard here. And we have a shield, so there's really nothing he could do. And we're going to take that match. And we're currently 4-0 in this first set. Up against Sensei Urata. Up next here. And we're leading Giratina into Groudon. So again, not the worst lead, but Groudon does win this matchup. Again, it is bait dependent. They have to land the Earthquake. They actually switch out into Snorlax. I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw here. I'm okay with this switch. Dragon Claw does a decent chunk. It is a Shadow, so I'm going to bring in Dialga. And from my own experience of running Snorlax in Master League, they're often running Superpower. But because it's a Shadow, I figured maybe I could take this and like farm down. But that Superpower does a lot of damage. So I'm going to shield this Body Slam here. And basically my thinking was maybe I could farm down, but towards the end you see I sort of figured that maybe he'll lick me down first. So I threw the Iron Head. And the opponent actually chooses to shield here. But because Dragon Breath is so broken, I still take switch advantage. And he only shielded there because he assumed that Lick would beat me. And I also thought Lick was going to beat me. So he's probably pissed off. And I'd be pissed too, because that's kind of BS for me to win switch there. But Dragon Breath is broken. That's how it is. You know, that's the game. Honestly, he should have won switch. Like, I'm not going to lie. He should have won switch. And here I call the Fire Punch bait huge, absolutely huge. So at this point, I didn't shield because I feared Earthquake's not going to KO anyways, and I don't really care too much about this match. At this point, I feel like, you know, he's pretty low. He's probably going to throw Earthquake now. So now I correctly call the Earthquake, and that's great for us because now he cannot get to another Earthquake before I throw 2 Dragon Claws. So he's either going to have to shield this up or let the Groudon go down. Brings in Dragonite. So I'm going to throw this Dragon Claw right here. And after I throw this Dragon Claw, I'm going to switch into Mewtwo because I assume that I could get to Side Strike before he gets to a Dragon Claw, which is going to do a lot of damage here to the Dragonite. And basically, the Dragonite's only play here is to go for the nuke. So either something like Hurricane or Outrage. Dragon Claw is not going to be enough. So he needs to hit me with something that's going to hit hard. So he does go for the Hurricane. It's going to knock me out. And my win condition here is to farm down with Shadow Claw to have enough energy for the Dragon Claw to throw at this Groudon. Because Fire Punch will not KO, so he needs to get to Earthquake. He doesn't have that energy ready. I have the Dragon Claw ready. It's going to knock out the Groudon. We are going to take that game. And we are going to go 4-0 so far in this set. AZN Man Fan in match number 5 of the first set, and we see a Togekiss lead. You guys may be thinking this is a horrible lead. This is my favorite lead to see with this team. And let me explain to you why. Even though this is a dominant matchup for Togekiss, 2 Shadow Sneaks is going to get it into the red. They never shield. And best case scenario, they actually throw their energy at your Giratina. If they do that, you're in an even better spot. But this player actually played it very well and farmed down completely. So I'm going to bring in Mewtwo and commit to a straight farm down here. Now, if they threw their energy, the most they would get to the second time is an Ancient Power. Sometimes they won't get to anything. This opponent goes to Flamethrower. So this is absolutely the worst case scenario for me. But I'm committing to straight farm now. Look how much energy we have. We have about 80 energy right now. So he brings in Dialga. I have enough for Focus Blast. Gonna bait with the Side Strike because the opponent knows Focus Blast gonna one-shot it. Gonna switch out into our own Dialga now. We're up a shield. We have Mewtwo in the back with a Side Strike ready, and Mewtwo will win CMP against just about anything in the meta. So that Side Strike in the back is huge late game. So I throw the Iron Head here. Opponent is going to throw. If this is a Draco Mini, it's going to knock me out, so I'm going to shield this up. It's an Iron Head. Should be able to commit to a farm down here. Opponent switches out into Giratina Origin. So amazing situation for me to be in. Going to throw the Iron Head here. And once they get rid of that shield, I could switch into the Mewtwo, throw the Side Strike, and that's going to knock out the Giratina. So right here, I'm going to shield up the Dialga here, and my switch timer should be up after this. Going to look to switch into Mewtwo, throw the Side Strike. CMP is going to win every time for Mewtwo, and this is going to knock out the Giratina. That Dialga is going to come back in, has basically no health, so I should be able to farm down with Dragon Breath, take that match. We go 5-0 in that first set against 5 unfavorable leads. So the team is working pretty well so far. And you could see that basically the strategy behind this team is having a shield advantage for Mewtwo in the back, because Mewtwo with shields applies pressure to literally everything, and it's so hard to beat. So Shasha up next, another Dialga lead. Giratina, we've played this out numerous times already in this video. Same thing every time. Gonna throw the Dragon Claw, and we're gonna throw 2 of them. This time I actually didn't build up for back-to-back. I threw it first, but we should still be able to get to the second one. We are gonna get hit by the Iron Head here. This will not KO. And we're gonna throw this right now. Now the worst thing you'd want to do is like maybe wait until you're like at 1 HP and then throw back-to-back and get hit by Draco Meteor before that happens. I don't know if anybody would even do that. Probably not, but we bring the Dialga here. You can see we farm it down every time. I think that only works with Best Buddy though. So if you don't have Best Buddy, this isn't going to work for your team. So they bring in Groudon, obviously hard counter for Dialga. Gonna throw the Iron Head here, gets the shield, switch out into Mewtwo. We got a shield advantage here. This could be an Earthquake, so I would expect to shield this up. Yep, it's only a Fire Punch though, that's fine. Gonna build up here for a Side Strike. We should be able to get to the second Side Strike here before they get to an Earthquake, I would assume. Yeah, we're gonna win CMP, even if this is an If they shield, they're probably throwing an Earthquake, so be cautious of that. Throw this Side Strike, they let it go through. Ooh, this is close. Okay. Man, I think at this point you gotta shield. Okay, so I do shield, it's an Earthquake. They bring in their own Mewtwo, okay. We should have an energy lead here. Slight energy lead. So I should be able to get off these Side Strikes. Gonna throw that there. Gonna get hit by another Side Strike here from the opponent. If they have Shadow Ball, obviously we're in big trouble. It's only a Side Strike. I should be able to beat it to the next Side Strike. This is a Best Buddy Mewtwo. But I think we should be fine here because we have the energy lead, so shouldn't have to worry about CMP. I switch out into Dialga here, but the opponent throws energy. This is fine too, because by throwing energy means they don't have another Side Strike ready. Could come in with Dialga, farm down, and that Groudon should be low enough to the point now where I could just farm down with Dragon Breath. Take that game against another Dialga lead. 1-0 in set number 2. Gonna go up against Tommy Love TV here. Very skilled trainer who has been featured on Pogo King's channel in the past, saw his videos. Another Dialga lead. So you've already seen it. It's self-explanatory. You guys could be explaining this to me at this point because I've explained it so many times. I'm sure you guys are masters of it at this point. So just stay in Giratina. I don't think we've switched out of lead once in this video yet. I've stayed in the lead every single match despite losing it, which is just goes to show the strength of Giratina Altered in the lead spot. So here comes the Iron Head. I actually choose to shield. Okay, so this is actually interesting. The reason I chose to shield here is because I knew I'd get to another Dragon Claw and this would KO the Dialga if they did not shield. So I actually decided that lowering shields is better for Mewtwo in the back because of how dominant it is with shields down. So I figured, let's just go for the shield here. They bring in Rhyperior. I'm going to throw this Iron Head. This is going to command the shield, and then I could bring in Mewtwo. And basically Mewtwo with the shield advantage is going to go absolutely berserk on this team. He has his own Mewtwo, so this is best case scenario for us. I did overfarm a little bit, so it looks like we might have lost CMP tie there, probably because he's best buddy, so he has a higher attack. But it's okay because we are ahead in energy, so I should be able to make up for that. Throw the Side Strike here. And I didn't shield because he went at 5, right? So there was no chance of it being a Shadow Ball. Otherwise, if he overfarmed a little bit, I might have had to shield just in case it is a Shadow Ball. Throw the Side Strike here. Should be able to commit to a farm down. Gonna shield this up, commit to the farm down, throw the Side Strike at the Rhyperior, and that's going to be a GG because we're gonna win CMP tie here, even if they have like a Rock Wrecker ready, for example, or a Surf. We win CMP, so I'm gonna throw the Side Strike. It's not going to knock out the Groudon. I tried to switch out into the Dialga, but it's better that he throws the energy here because now I could just farm down basically. He might have undercharged there, looking to overfarm a little bit, but Dialga comes in, farm down with the Dragon Breath, take that match. 2-0 in set number 2 here. Moving into the next match with Zeus Gree. And we are going to be leading Giratina into Dialga. So another Dialga lead. There have been so many Dialga leads in this video, and we're not fazed by them. We like to see it even because we're winning against it. So it's not that big of a deal. Gonna throw a Dragon Claw here, back to back. Probably get an Iron Head in between. Nope. It would be interesting to see if this opponent actually tried farming down completely. I don't know how that would play out. I would assume that we might get to another Dragon Claw before they are able to farm down actually. So that might not work. They'd probably be able to win, but going a shield down. And then I could just bring in Dialga and shield, and it's pretty much the same thing. So I bring in Dialga here, you see we're able to farm down. Now if there is lag, they will sometimes get to the charge move there, which will definitely affect the match, which kind of sucks, but you know, it's part of the game, the lag, unfortunately. So I'm gonna throw the Iron Head here. We get the shield, which is pretty huge. And you could see that the damage output from Dialga is doing a lot more than Zekrom is doing to us. And at this point I realized I can actually farm down, and I have so much energy now for whatever's in the back. It's Kyogre. I'm actually going for the nuke here, which it's probably the wrong play because they're gonna have to shield anyways. So I should have just went for Iron Head, but at this point it didn't really matter because I have a shield, I have Side Strike Mewtwo. I can just hit back-to-back Side Strikes here, and this is going to win the game. So because of the position I was in, Draco Meteor kind of makes sense because if he lets it go, I win. If he shields it, I'm going to get to 2 Side Strikes regardless, which is going to knock out the Kyogre with 0 shields at that point. So it doesn't really matter too much the way it played out. And we're going to take this game going 3-0 in set number 2. And we are currently on, I believe, a 9-game win streak, which is my record for the season. And we're trying to see if I can set a new record here with a 10-game win streak against Chem Mysterious, match number 4. Giratina into Groudon. So again, a not so positive lead, but as we've seen throughout this video, that's not the worst case for Giratina. It performs really well in the lead. So I'm going to throw Dragon Claw here. This is going to go unshielded, of course. And oftentimes, I find most people do throw Earthquake, but I don't like to shield it regardless. I'm okay with losing the lead matchup. Gonna throw Dragon Claw here. Best case scenario is that they throw a Fire Punch at some point and you don't shield because that's going to give you the edge. So I'm gonna throw here another Dragon Claw. We actually lag a little bit, which kind of sucks because I think we would have been able to throw that first. So a little bit unfortunate. Get hit by the Earthquake there. So I think lag had a little bit of an impact in that particular matchup, but it's totally fine. Gonna bring in Dialga here, look to farm down before they get to a move. They get to a Fire Punch here, so I'm gonna let this go through. And this was definitely affected by lag, of course, in that particular match, but it is what it is. It's totally fine. They bring in their own Dialga. So I'm actually gonna go for the nuke here, Draco Meteor, and I'm going to switch out into Mewtwo after that because my attack's gonna fall. He lets it go through though, which is insane. And I bring in Mewtwo, so this looks like it's a good situation for us, but even though I switched out instantly, in that time where I'm switching, just like the switch animation itself, he gets the advantage in energy because he throws some Cycle Cuts between that. So right now I believe he's ahead by 1 Cycle Cut, so it's not great for us. You can see that we fall just one cycle cut short of Side Strike. So he's ahead of us by 1 Cycle Cut, 1 turn. And I'm gonna throw the Side Strike here. Opponent has used the shield. They actually used their second shield here. So at this point it'd be amazing if I had Shadow Ball, but I find Focus Blast definitely does a lot better in most situations. So what I'm gonna do here is throw the Side Strike. I'm trying to overfarm a little bit. I know that I could have got to maybe, I don't know if I could have got to 1 more because he might win CMP. So I went just under 1, switch out into Dialga here, and I tried to commit to a farm down because I figured that was my only win condition. Maybe you could argue that was a mistake. Maybe I should have tried to stay in with the Mewtwo. Personally, I don't think it would have made a difference. I think we would have probably lost this match regardless. And that one Side Strike short that we were definitely gave the opponent the advantage. So well played by them, and we end our win streak there. So first loss into match number 5, another Dialga lead, and let's see if we get out to set positively. So far we've had 9 games in these 2 sets. We're 8-1. Let's see if we could go out 9-1. Dialga is going to throw the Iron Head here. Gonna let that go through. Gonna throw the Dragon Claw. And again, we've seen this match so many times. Plays out the same way every time. Dragon Claw here, and then just go for some Shadow Claws. And get farmed down. So now we bring in the Dialga, and we farm down their own Dialga. And we should beat them to the charge move. We should beat them to the farm now before the charge move every single time. If they do get to the charge move, it's always going to be Iron Head, so you don't have to worry about that. You should still shield anyways, but it's never going to one-shot you if you don't want to shield. Togekiss comes in, gonna throw the Iron Head here. Gonna get the shield. And this is pretty interesting. Looks like I'm actually going for the double Iron Head here. So I'm actually looking to get rid of both shields, going 2 shields to 0 with the Mewtwo. This is actually very interesting. So now I bring in the Mewtwo. Side Strike's gonna KO, so I could just shield up here. And it's only an ancient power, so shield wasn't even necessary to be honest. But because Charm does so much damage, you may as well shield there. Over farming a little bit, throwing the Side Strike. Let's see what they have in the back. Is this a Focus Blast kind of finish to the video? It's a Melmetal. So you can see this tactic actually worked pretty well, getting both those shields with the Dialga because I had such a huge energy lead that it gave my Mewtwo such a huge advantage. 2 shields to 0. 1 shots the Melmetal, Focus Blast, end this set in dominant fashion. We go 9-1 in those 2 sets. Very impressed with this team, and these sets got us back into the 2700s. So those were some pretty interesting battles using Giratina Altered Forme in the lead. You could see even when it loses the lead, it's such a strong, bulky Pokemon that it never really has like a very dominant loss. It always does some chip damage and gets the opposing Pokemon very weak. Whether it's Togekiss, Dialga, doesn't really matter. Giratina Altered almost always gets you in a pretty good situation for the back Pokemon. We ended up going 9-1 in those 2 sets. If you include that first matchup where I was testing the team, we went 10-1 in 11 matches. Very good team. Obviously not every set went that dominant after this video, but for these 2 particular sets you could see the dominance of this team, and obviously Mewtwo in the back with shields is a very strong Pokemon and something you might want to consider using in Open Master League. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribing to the channel. I have a bunch more Open Master League content coming out in the next couple of days, so please stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.